Right. So first topic we have discussed about is the mid-year evaporation of southwest monsoon rainfall. Yeah, we are in the southwest monsoon season. So recently there is an institute called as Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology. Right. So it has stated that rainfall we have studied. We have clouds. From clouds, what we experience? The rainfall. Yeah, so when rainfall comes from cloud, many time before they reach the surface, what happens? They re-evaporate. Okay, so what we have recorded is that about 25% of monsoon rain evaporates before reaching the ground surface, and the study was conducted in the northwestern Ghats. Yes, 25%. That means if 100 liter of rainfall is coming from cloud, only how many liters are falling on the surface? 75 liters. 25 liters are evaporating in the atmosphere itself. So average evaporation is 25%, and 25% over the entire season we have experienced. Daily, if 100 liters rainfall is falling, 4 to 61% depending upon which area, what is temperature and all that, evaporates. Yeah, right? Because see, this is the cloud, you have the liquid water falling down, and this is the surface. So here temperature is low. In the middle air, temperature can be what? Relatively higher. So when the raindrop reaches here, if they are very small in size, microscopic water droplets, then there would be enough temperature to cause them to evaporate as such. So if temperature is lower, some days evaporation would be less. If temperature is higher, what will happen? Evaporation would be high as such. So it depends on what? Temperature. Okay, humidity also depends upon, the humidity also controls it. High humidity, that means less evaporation. Lower humidity, that means there will be more evaporation. And the most important is what factor? Size. Between small size and large size water droplet, which will evaporate easily? A small size. Okay, so if more small size water droplets are there, evaporation is higher. Raindrop, where do they evaporate? Below the cloud. When they fall from cloud, somewhere between reaching the surface, before reaching the surface. Now when evaporation happens, so this is water. You have water in the liquid form, and then it evaporates. That means it converts into which form? Vapor form. So in this process, energy is required. Okay. So if energy is required in this process, what will happen to air? Air will cool, because what is taking the energy? Water is taking the energy. Where will it take energy from? From the surrounding air itself. So due to the evaporation, air cools down, because the latent heat that is present, basically it is absorbed by the water as a liquid. And if air is cooler, this concept we have studied in the climatology. If you have cold air, earlier air was warm. If air was warm, where it would go? In the upward direction. If air is colder, where it will go? In the downward direction. So if air is cooling, what will form here? Downdraft. Okay, air would start to sink toward the surface. And if it is the surface, cold air is sinking downward. If cold air is sinking downward, that means it will not allow the warm air to go up. If warm air does not go up, no evaporation, no condensation, and no rainfall. That means due to the development of surface cold pool, we can say future rainfall will also be affected. Less rainfall now will observe, because cold air is continuously restricting the movement of the warm air in the upper atmosphere. So what we can say? Evaporation of raindrop, if question is asked, will it reduce rainfall or increase rainfall in the future? What will happen? Reduce rainfall. And this is not only India, everywhere we have this kind of phenomena. So few cities IITM has compared, like Zurich, that is in Switzerland. What is the evaporation rate? 40%. Or Barbados Islands that you have in the Caribbean region. What is the evaporation rate? 60%. Why? Because more temperature, that is why more evaporation. Compared to that, in the Western Ghat, only 25% evaporation rate. Now the question is that how do you measure it? Okay, because we are saying that if 100 liters of water is falling from cloud, only 75 liters each year, 25 liters are evaporating. But you cannot effectively measure it like, okay, in the atmosphere, how much water is evaporating. So what mechanism is followed? It is called as use of stable isotope. Okay, so what scientists do? In the water, you have two type of water. One we call as heavy water, other is called as light water. So heavy water also you would have studied about. Okay, isotope of hydrogen, that is deuterium is present. Okay, D2O. Light water is what? H2O. So in the rainwater you have fixed concentration of D2O versus H2O. So we say at 99.8% generally is the H2O, and 0.2% of water remains in which form? It remains in the form of D2O, right? That is a fixed composition. That means what I am saying, that if 100 or 1000, let's imagine, if 1000 liter of water is falling from cloud, what we should expect? 998 liter would be H2O and 2 liter will be what? D2O. If the water evaporates, again, which water will evaporate easily? Lighter one or heavier one? Lighter one. So that means when evaporation happens, mostly what evaporates? H2O. Now when you finally collect the water, what you find? That only 970 liter is H2O and you have 2 liters of D2O. What should be expected value? 998. That means how many water evaporated? 28 liters of water evaporates. So you compare that with the total rainfall that you receive, you will get a rough idea how much percentage of water has evaporated. So this method of calculation is called as what method? Stable isotope measurement. Okay, you are basically measuring the isotopes of the water. So isotope networks, that is what IITM has established. Total 9 rainwater isotope stations IITM has established. Where it is established? In the Himalayas, in the northeastern India, Western Ghat, Port Blair, it has been renamed. What is the new name? Sri Vijayapuram, capital of Andaman and Nicobar Island. So there we have placed. So the objective is to understand the mechanism of the monsoon, how monsoon is influenced, affected, and everything associated with that. What is the significance of this method? We will be able to predict rainfall better, because till now we were only focusing upon parameters such as how dense is the cloud, how strong is the wind. If clouds are denser, if the winds are stronger, if evaporation rate in the ocean is higher, that means we should expect what? Heavier rainfall. But now what we are adding, that just because these are present, it does not mean that we will receive adequate rainfall. It also depends on how much rainfall actually is reaching on the surface. Because the rainwater that evaporates from atmosphere, does it have any use for us? No. Okay, that's why it helps in what? Better prediction of rainfall. Then improved climatic models, because we are bringing new elements here. Better hydrological model to understand how water changes, phase and all that. And also in the case of extreme weather forecasting, we can use it. Plus below cloud interaction model. Till now we are mainly focused upon cloud microphysics is the term that use. To understand rainfall in a better way, scientists were largely modeling the internal part of the cloud. How and how much is the size, or what is the size of the water droplet. Okay, the Langmuir precipitation process we have studied in the class. Okay, that explains that how cloud formation result in the rainfall and all that. Now we also are focusing upon what? Below cloud interaction model, how rainwater interact with the atmosphere that is below the cloud and all. So that is the first topic. Second topic is related to news coming from Kudankulam nuclear power plant. So first location wise, if you look, Kudankulam is situated in which state? That is the Tamil Nadu. Okay, so Kudankulam nuclear power plant here, located in Tamil Nadu, run by, you have all the nuclear power plants of India. It is run by single company, Government of India company, NPCIL, that is Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited. Reactor type is VVR, that means water reactor it is called as. Water reactor. Energy reactor. VVR. Water energy reactor. What it means? This is the most important point. Water energy reactor means in nuclear reactor, two things are used. One is called as coolant, that removes the heat, excess heat build up in the reactor, and other is called as moderator, that controls the flow of neutrons and all that. So in this reactor, coolant and moderator, for both of them what we are using? Single thing, that is water itself. In some reactors, other coolant also is used as such. So that is why VVR, that is water energy reactor. Reactor supplier is this particular nuclear power plant has been built with the collaboration of Russia. Okay, so Russia, you have a company called as Rosatom. So Rosatom, it is the supplier, reactor supplier. In India, majority of reactors, new nuclear reactors that you have, nuclear energy power plants that you have, we have been building with the collaboration of other countries, mostly France and Russia. Commission date was 2013, and recently government has announced to expand this project. Okay, three more reactors would be installed in the same place. Now why it is news? It is related to the security, cyber security. So 14.3 GB of operational data were reportedly leaked. So we can say that whatever information related to the reactor, it was, we can say victim of cyber attack, the reactor and the companies that you have. So total 14.3 GB of operational data was leaked. Data was hosted on the world leaks. You have kind of dark wave. So people or the criminals who stole the data, they were trying to sell the data, that if someone wants this data, we can give them. And it also is linked to two other companies, that is Reliance Infrastructure, because the entire management of the infrastructure here, okay, the engineering of the power plant, the procurement of the vessels and all that, where you have commissioning of power plant, responsibility is given to which company? Reliance. That means even the IT based system, which is basically running the nuclear power plant, is also operated by which company? Reliance. That's why question was asked about the cyber security measures taken by Reliance, that maybe it was not adequate enough. Now once the news comes out, the Nuclear Power Corporation of India, NPCIL, that we have discussed, the main body that runs the nuclear power plant or in this reactor, they stated that whatever data was stolen, it was not related to the core reactor system. Okay, data does not talks about that how reactor works or what is the technology that we're using the reactors and all that. It only is related to which kind of data? It is called as balance of plant facilities. Balance of plant facilities means all the facilities that assist in the running of operation of nuclear reactor as such. What can be example of such facilities? Electricity, power infrastructure that you have. What else can be this example? So cooling tower you have in the nuclear power plants. What else? Waste disposal system that you have here. So all of these makes up which kind of system? Balance of plant. Nuclear reactor is the main core of the plant, and then all other systems are the balance of plant. The data that was leaked is not related to the nuclear reactor system, it is related to the other systems and such. That's why NPCIL states that there will be no impact on the nuclear safety or security, because the most critical data that we have, it has not been stolen. Okay, so that is the press statement issued by here. If you look at the nature of the incident, an attempted ransomware attack was planned here. Ransomware is basically when someone steals critical data and would give you back if you give them certain amount of money as such. So basically they are trying to extract ransom by using cyber attacks, right? So this is the new tool. The company that was involved here is Yota Data Services. They were the one who manages and store all the data. That means their server was attacked. So the suspicious activities was reported to them. And as soon as the cyber hack was confirmed, how you can prevent the cyber attack from spreading? So whichever server is being attacked, you disconnect it from the other server. What will happen? Whatever program is running, it will not be able to go to the other systems and all. So server isolated, but in this case, Yota said that no ransomware execution is being seen. Okay, even if data was just stolen with attempt to ask for ransom or extract ransom, no such demand was raised by anyone as such. That means what is possible? The data that they had access to, they understood that it is not so relevant that someone will give ransom for it, okay, or give money for it. So that's why there is no lateral movement and all that, okay, after the data was stolen. So that is the third. Reported leaked data. What are the data that were leaked? So drawings and blueprints, okay, of the entire power plant. Who has supplied which kind of equipment, vessels, technology and all that. Okay, inspection record when the carried was. What was found? Okay, was there any shortcomings? Was there any problems and all that? Plus review of the equipment. All the equipments that are working. To what extent are they aged, or for example, okay, how long life they have left. USD 112 million of insurance reference was also used here. Basically, on the nuclear power plant, you have total insurance of $112 million. Okay, that means if something happens, some accident happens, someone will have to cover those damages. So total 112 million of insurance claim you have, but no reactor control data was published here or was leaked. Now why it matters? Because first of all, if any data is leaked from the nuclear reactor of India, it does not only affect India, it also affects which country? Russia, because technology is coming from where? Russia. So leakage will be of Russian technology. So that would also what? To some extent influence the India-Russia bilateral ties. Okay, because Russia would try to guard and protect its security protocols, reactor technology and all that. 4 more reactors are planned. So if critical data is leaked, would Russia be comfortable in planting more reactors? No. Okay, so that would also affect or influence what? Our future nuclear energy expansion. And also this raises a question that how robust is our cyber security system, because nuclear reactor is example of what? Critical national infrastructure. Okay, so we have to be sure about most robust security, cyber security system that should be put in place. The key takeaways is what? This is a kind of warning. Though in this attack we are saying that critical data was not exposed or stolen, it does not mean in the future it will not take place. Okay, if they have attacked once, they will try to attack second time, third time, fourth time. So that's why, what is the lesson we have to learn? Whatever system, cyber security systems we have now, it is not enough adequate. We have to strengthen it. Secure third party vendors. Specifically, if you are taking technology from some other countries, you have to make sure that those data are most safe. Improve cloud protection, regular cyber audits, and faster incident response. Okay, if any incident happens, response would be rapid. We'll discuss all these terms are there in the internal security we have talked about. Okay, so these are more from that area. Then third topic is formation of the Tibetan Plateau. Formation of Tibetan Plateau we already understand is, if you look here, what do you have? Indian plate moving from the south, and in the north which plate we have? Eurasian plate. Due to collision between Indian plate and Eurasian plate, what formed? Himalayas. And between them the land mass also got uplifted. That land mass we see in the form of what? Tibetan Plateau. That means what we can say? How did Tibetan Plateau form? By the convergence of Indian plate and Eurasian plate. So that is the knowledge that we have. Now some new information has come out, and the study was published in Nature Geoscience magazine. Reveals information about Tibetan Plateau and links deep earth processes with the surface topography. Now what is this information, new news? That's what we have to understand. But before that, if you look at the Tibetan Plateau, it is considered as what? First of all, highest plateau on the entire earth, okay, as such. Second, how high? Average height itself is more than 4,500 meters. Largest upland region of the entire world. So not only highest, but the highest as well as maybe the largest plateau in the entire world is Tibetan Plateau. And very important from the water security perspective, because 10 of the major rivers of Asia, where do they originate from? Tibet. Okay, in India we have discussed river system. Indus River, where originate from? Tibet. Brahmaputra from Tibet. Satluj River from Tibet. Right. So Chinese river, many Chinese river you have. Mekong River, for example, originating from Tibet. So overall, it is the source of water, plus also it influenced the monsoon of Asia. And this we have seen in the climate of India when we talked about the effect of one of the factors influencing monsoon. What I told you? Tropical easterly jet stream. Where did it originate from? From the Tibetan Plateau as such. Right. So effect of tropical easterly jet stream we have seen in the monsoon chapter. So that's what it is written here. So these are the importance of the Tibetan Plateau. Now geological background, this already we are seeing. What is going on in this area? Indian plate is moving northward. This we have discussed in class, is still even today. Indian plate every year moves at what rate? 4.5 centimeter per year roughly. And because of its northward movement, it is continuously colliding with Eurasian plate. And when the Indian plate, Eurasian plate collide, in the areas where collision take place, the Indian plate is being thrusted downward. It is pressurized to move downward as such. And as it thrusts downward, here what happens? Upfolding we have seen. So Himalayas, Tibetan Plateau, they are getting what kind of uplifted. So Himalayan and Tibetan uplift is a direct result of collision between Indian plate and Eurasian plate. Right? This we have studied in the plate tectonics as well as CC convergence. Now what is the new finding, major finding? So if you look at the Tibetan Plateau like this, okay, this is the western part, this is the central part, this is the eastern part of plateau. What geologists have found out? That everywhere uplift is not taking place or has not taken place at the same time. Western part of plateau has uplifted in different time period. Eastern part and central part of plateau has uplifted in different time period. So different uplift histories are being seen. Different exhumation pattern has been observed here. Exhumation basically refer to the rocks. Rocks come from below the surface to the surface. Right? If the rocks are moving from below the surface to the surface, what is that process called as? Exhumation. Okay, we can write exhumation, very important term. Okay, the movement of rocks from below the surface to the surface. So different exhumation pattern has been experienced in the western part and the central part, and the topography reflects the deep tectonic process itself. Okay, so based on this, what you can understand? Why you have different uplift history? Why the western part of Tibetan Plateau uplifted before and the central part uplifted later? What is the reason behind uplift? Convergence between Indian plate and Eurasian plate. So I am saying that here uplift is taking place before. here uplift is taking place after. That means we can say that if the movement of Indian plate is concerned, Indian plate is not moving at the uniform rate everywhere. In the western part it is moving at faster rate, eastern part it is moving at a slower rate. That's why western part is uplifting earlier, eastern part is uplifting what? Relatively later as such. So that is what the information talks about. And the major uplift based on the study of the rocks, scientists believe that most of the Tibetan plateau, in what time frame did they uplifted? Between 45 to 20 million years from now. Rocks were exposed by uplift and erosion. Western Tibet, as we have discussed, it was uplifted earlier. Central and Eastern Tibet uplifted in the later stages. Right? That means the western part of Indian plate is moving at fast rate. Eastern and central part is moving at what? Slow rate. Yeah, that's what it tells you. So that is the exhumation history. Geological survey was conducted between 2017 to 2019. Region again not important, but the places where scientists study in the Tibet called as Garje and Ruthog region as such. Two things are used here, two terms are used here. One is geochronology, other is thermochronology. Geochronology talks about the age of rock. Age of rock. When you study and compare the age of rock, what is the branch of geography called as? Geochronology. When you study that when did rocks cooled, cooling history of rocks, that is studied in which branch? Thermochronology. Understood? That means I am saying that this rock formed 150 billion years ago, million years ago. The other rock formed 120 million years ago. When you are studying this part, what you are studying? Geochronology. Then I am saying that this rock, it cooled about 80 million years ago, and this rock cooled about 60 million years ago. When you're talking about that, what you are studying? Thermochronology. Okay, why? Because rocks are where? Somewhere below the plate here. This is the surface. This rock is inside the surface. That means somewhere near the mantle. Temperature would be very high here. So rocks would be not in completely solid state. They would be what? Kind of molten. When suppose you start uplifting these areas, what will happen? The rock will come up. When the rock come up, they are exposed to lower temperature. What will happen? Cooling. When cooling happens, what will experience? More solidification of the rock. That will be a study in which branch? Thermochronology. So both study help us in understanding the geophysical phenomena that is taking place in terms of plate tectonics, movement of the crust and all that. So these were the methodology used. Significance is, it is a clear evidence that Indian plate is undergoing subduction. Okay, keep in mind, this is a very interesting thing, because in class what I told you, whenever you have CC convergence, plates do not subduct. Okay, they basically keep on compressing. But what is the new finding telling us? That even in CC convergence, plates start to subduct as such. Okay, that is very recent finding. How we can say that Indian plate is subducting? Otherwise, you will not have different cooling and heating of the rock itself. That also explains the topographic variation. Okay. Like for example, suppose this is the plateau. What I am saying, this plateau formed or uplifted 45 million years ago. This part of plateau uplifted how many million years ago? 20 million years ago. So if the difference in age is humongous, the topography, that means the surface of plateau will not be same, because here erosion would be what? More, because erosion is going on for long period of time. Here extent of erosion would be what? Relatively less. Why? Because it is new plateau. That is why erosion rate would differ. If erosion rate differ, topographic variation, surface variation, feature variation will experience. So this all information would help us in better understanding of the mountain building process, okay, fold mountain building. Helps also study earthquakes and geological hazards in this area, because earthquake is largely a result of the CC convergence and all. Right. Then next is secondary infertility in India. A recent NFHS report, National Family Health Survey, keep on coming with the reports. So it has said that the secondary infertility. So what is secondary infertility? For example, a couple, they have been able to what do you call as? They have one child, okay, from before. So that is the first. Second time they want to have children, but they're not able to do so. That means which kind of fertility? Secondary. If you're not able to have children in the first stance itself, first time itself, what we'll call it as? Primary infertility. So what is the NFHS survey saying? That secondary infertility is continuously rising in India. Couple are having to have, couple are basically going to have one children and are able to have one children, but when they are trying for second child, they are failing as such. Understood? And what is the data shows us that in early 1990s, what was the rate of secondary infertility? 90.5%. And in 2015, 2016, it has increased to what percentage? 28.6. Okay, so if you try to think, almost 30% you can understand. 30% of the couples in India are not able to have or conceive second child. That is secondary infertility. What is the reason? So 3-4 major reasons the report highlights can be factored. First, what is the general trend? Parenthood compared to earlier decades have become more delayed. Okay, earlier people were having children in 20 to 30 years. Now they are having between 30 to 40 years as such. Second, the lifestyle changes we are witnessing, right? In the way how you work, sedentary lifestyle is on rise. Okay, the type of food that you eat is very different today. So that also can be one reason. Third, age-related fertility decline. Earlier, they are saying that women, especially if they try to have children after 35 years of age, what happens? Probability of conceiving child becomes lower. So now we are witnessing in India that delayed age of marriage, that also can be related to the decline in fertility, plus male infertility also is on rise. So these are the 4 reasons why we have witnessed a decline in the increase in the secondary infertility. Right, that is infertility, failure to achieve pregnancy. As per WHO, in the entire world, what you see, 1 in 6 people are affected by this particular problem, infertility problem. Male, female, combined or unexplained causes. Okay, both of them can be seen here. Primary versus secondary, we have seen the difference. Cause, delayed family completion, declining equality, cesarean scar defects and all that you have. Okay, okay, male infertility is smoking and alcohol. That is related to which kind of this effect? Lifestyle related effect. Obesity and stress, that also is related directly to the lifestyle that has changed recently. Endocrine disrupting chemicals, that comes into picture if you are having children in a higher age or later age. At the same time, the interesting thing is the effect is also because of use of microplastic. Like these days you take this example, what do you have? Plastic bottles. Okay, so plastic bottles, water is present for 8, 12, 24 hours and such, and then you are taking or extracting water in glass. But if water spend more time in the plastic, what happens? Microplastic keep on leaching into it. So when you are consuming water, drinking water from a water stored for a longer duration in plastic bottle, you are also consuming microplastic. They seem to have effect on what? Endocrine disrupting chemical. So hormonal imbalances is being observed here. Plus the food that we consume today, many of the crops that we grow, they are laced with what? Pesticides. So large amount of chemicals you're using. Many times the residue remain no matter how good you clean it. Right? That's why you will see many times news comes that some countries, especially developed countries like European countries, Japan and all that, they stopped or they basically restricted the movement of Indian food into their territory. What is one common reason? Higher residue of pesticides. That has a direct impact on the health, more specifically the fertility health and all that. So this is the most important point you have to keep in mind, because all these are understandable health related issues. But the consumption and the increase in the use of microplastic and pesticides, it is directly increasing the secondary fertility in the people. So this point you can write in the environment and climate change related topics or geography or pollution and all that. Environmental factors, apart from these, PM 2.5 and heavy metals, their concentration has increased in our food, water, air and all that. And whenever they enter our body undergoes through something that is called as oxidative stress. More number of free radicals are produced in your body. Okay, and because of this, what happens? The sperm quality reduces as such. That is one finding. Impaired ovarian function is seen, and that's why there is need for early diagnosis. And the most important, what we have to focus upon, lifestyle change as such. If you are able to do so, we might be able to reduce the number and data. That was the simple NFHS report. The next is digital threat report 25-26. Digital threat report, this is the second edition only. The first report was published in 24, so 23-24. Now we have 25-26 report. Why new? So second edition was released here, right? What does report talks about? A strengthening of cyber resilience, right? addressing emerging cyber threat, like recently we have just seen what was targeted, Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited as such. So now cyber threat, their scope and extent has changed. If you compare year 2010 and 2026, the nature of cyber threat we faced in 2010 was very different, of very low intensity compared to what we face in year 2026 as such. So because cyber threat is continuously evolving, continuously changing, we also have to address that. We have to build our capabilities to tackle these kind of threats. And overall, the most vulnerable sector against cyber threat is which sector? Financial sector. Okay, because it can cause massive disruption in the life of people. Okay, imagine the bank of certain server, SBI, Axis, any bank you can think of. If it is being attacked, if important data are being stolen, or the financial information is being stolen, or even the money can be stolen, what will happen? Financial stress, economic stress will be seen. So financial sector is where we have to focus more in building our cyber resilience. AI asymmetry has been flagged as the biggest cyber security risk as per this particular report. Okay, artificial intelligence, AI asymmetry, biggest cyber security risk. Achha, why it is the biggest cyber security risk? Because the report has stated this point, a very important point. You have two things. One, you have the criminals, or you can call them as what? Cyber attackers. And one, what you have? The systems or institutions which are continuously preventing cyber attacks or protecting the critical infrastructure against cyber attack. What the report says, that cyber attackers, they have been able to evolve at a faster rate than defenders. In which sphere? Use of artificial intelligence. So the cyber criminals are efficiently and in more advanced manner using artificial intelligence compared to the institutions who are responsible for defending infrastructure against cyber this attack and such, right? Third is machine speed attacks. They have increased significantly in the recent time compared to physical attacks and all that you have. And the biggest concern is that earlier, when you talk about cyber attack and the cyber hacking, this was done by people who have expertise in the field of cyberspace, who might have degree in computer engineering and all that, who might have learned the hacking tools and codes and all that. Now it is seen that even people who do not have any background in cyber system, computer system, what they're using? AI to learn it, right? They do not need any proper institutional education through the colleges, universities and all that. They are training themselves by the use of AI. That's why the attack now is being commenced by people who can be considered as which kind of actor? Low resource actor. They do not need a lot of education, skill, training and big machines and computer systems and all that. Even by a single laptop, if they have enough knowledge, understanding, they can cause cyber attack. That is the statement of the report. Also, we have seen a rapid evolution of threats. What it means? That earlier in 2010, report says that if someone is planning to attack critical infrastructure such as some banking server or hospital servers or like for example nuclear reactor server in this case, they have to plan for many years. They have to build capability for many years. They have to write programs, design computer viruses, malware, spamware, ransomware and all that. Then in 2015, 2016, this was reduced to several months. Now for planning, they do not need several years. They can do easily in several months. Now due to the use of AI, what we are seeing? Now same preparation, same strategy can be deployed within weeks. So you find out that I have to target SBI. Now cyber criminals do not have to prepare for years to attack SBI. They will be ready within few weeks. What is the factor? Use of artificial intelligence here, right? Social engineering we can talk about. That is where basically they are also trying to cause lot of nuisances. Okay, for example, suppose someone has made deep fake videos where the purpose is to stoke what? Communal violence. Okay, they have begun circulating video saying that one religious group is attacking other religious group. This is completely a fake video. No such incident has happened. But you start circulating it on the social media, WhatsApp. People start forwarding it. What would happen? In any city, there would be kind of anger, okay, against or between both groups. What can lead to? Social disruption. So such kind of attack is called as social engineering. You are engineering such attacks by creating deep fake videos, by rumor mongering, by using the artificial intelligence and all. Other type of crime that has recently been seen a significant increase is the theft of credential data. Basically you can say identity theft also we can call it. So credential or identity of people are being stolen and then used for various purposes. Supply chain is being attacked. cloud exploitation, because today all the data are largely stored where? On the clouds. Okay, you would also have experience. Many time what happens, your Gmail gives you 15 GB of memory, that is not sufficient, so you have to buy memory. Or similarly for Apple also, you have to put everything where? On clouds. So it is now no longer in your control. You have put your videos, photos, okay, information, facts, banking information, cards and all on the clouds of Apple. If someone is able to attack Apple cloud or Google cloud, they would be able to steal this data, right? So that is something we are seeing increase in the attack. And as you can see, AI assisted fraud as well. So these are the major evolution changes in the nature of cyber threat we have seen. Cyber failure framework, 4-layer gap archetype framework. This particular report talks about that we have to develop our cyber security system in the 4-layer. What are the 4 layers? So 3 things are mentioned here. First of all, in first layer, what we have to do? Identify the systemic weakness. Okay, they say that you do the survey of each sector. Okay, you take for example financial sector, you take for example defense sector, right? You take for example critical sectors we are talking about. So telecommunication, finance, defense, telecommunication, health, power. These are sectors which are referred as which kind of sector? Critical information infrastructure. So for these sector, first of all, you have to identify where are the weaknesses, which are the vulnerabilities that cyber attackers can use, right, to steal data or to carry out some disruption. Once you do that, analyze the chain of vulnerabilities. For example, you have a well-developed system. If one part is vulnerable, if cyber criminals are able to attack and hack into this part, they can easily access the second part, right? They can go from layer to layer. They can keep on extracting information and all that. So once you identify the systemic weaknesses, you analyze the chain of vulnerabilities. Okay, that one vulnerabilities can lead to other vulnerabilities. How it will work, and then based on this understanding, you have to build your capacity. How would you build your capacity? By prioritizing investment in the area. You bring in more number of people. Okay, cyber warrior is a term that sometimes is used. You bring in better technology. You bring in better AI experts and all that. So those are what we have to do. And thus 18-month roadmap is given by the report, which will help in foundational security control. Achha, other thing is what report says that currently what model we follow? Every 3 months or 4 months, 6 months, you come and you do the risk assessment. Okay, that whether our cyber system is secure or not. Instead of that, what we should shift to? Continuous risk assessment. It should be done more frequently, every day or even every week as such. Okay. Third, it says that our response against incident many times has been delayed or slow. That we have to improvise upon as well. Improvement, a definite improvement in the response against any cyber incident has to be observed. Threat intelligence sharing. Okay, that means if any sector feels vulnerable, if any sector has suffered from cyber attack, those information should be shared with other sector, right? Because everything is computer controlled, computer managed. If the virus can steal information from the financial sector, it can very well steal information from the defense sector. So each sector should work in close coordination with each other. They should be able to share the intelligence that this is a threat, this is where threat lies and all that. And overall, we have to focus on building what? Resilient architecture, okay, that can be adapted against any kind of modern attacks and all. Now, one agency which is responsible here in the case of India is called as Computer, CERT, Computer Emergency Response Team, India. That is the full form. Computer Emergency Response Team, India, CERT-in. This is the nodal agency, and it is designated as a National Cyber Incident Response Agency. No matter where in India, whichever sector of India is experiencing cyber attack or has experienced cyber attack, which agency will respond? CERT-in. So nodal agency, national agency. Working under which ministry? Which ministry is it? MeitY, right? Which ministry? Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Okay, so MeitY, that is how it is written. Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Acha, for cyber crime, which act governs cyber crime? Information Technology Amendment Act 2008. So if someone is found to be guilty of the cyber crime, he would be punished under the provisions of this act. There is also criticism because look here, when was this act instituted? 2008. Compare that, we are in which year? 2026. Many of the cyber crimes that we see today did not even exist in 2008. Again, 2008 only few people used to have access to computer systems and the internet and all that. Today 70-80% of people have access to all the system. That means many critics argue that this law has become kind of obsolete. Okay, so we have to replace it with a new act. This is also a demand of many cyber experts that India, the government of India or Parliament of India specifically, they should institute a new act, new piece of legislation that would ensure protection against the modern threats, cyber threats that we are experiencing. And for making people more aware, we should be able to send what? Alerts to people, that there should be alert against certain kind of cyber crime. Advisories should be issued. Okay, like one scam which is being run these days, cyber scam we can say, is digital arrest scam, where people are pretending to be police officers and they are saying that I have digitally arrested you because some this contrabands we have found in your name, or your name or ID card was used in some drug dealing and all that, and through that they try to extract money from you. So many people have become big victim of this. Why? Because there were no information that such kind of scam is going on. A government keeps on promoting it that such a scam, do not fall prey to it through the media, news, okay, papers and all that, through the mode of advisories. What will happen? The influence of cybercrime can be minimized. And overall, what are the practices we should adopt to make our systems more resilient in nature? These are the topics. Now coming to some questions with reference to the recent IATM study, mid-air evaporation. Nearly 1/4 of southwest monsoon rainfall over Western Ghat evaporate before reaching the ground. True or false? How much percentage was evaporation? Is it same or not? Right. So correct statement. Second, mid-air evaporation cools the air below cloud, leading to the formation of downdraft and surface cold pool. True or false? True. Okay. Third, researchers estimated the evaporation directly using weather radars. Right. No. Okay. Weather radars cannot give us idea about information. What we have used? Which technique? Stable isotope method. Okay. So what is the correct answer? 1 and 2. Then, with reference to recent Kudankulam nuclear plant data leak, power plant data leak, consider the following statement. NPCIL stated that the core reactor systems were not affected by the reported data leak. Right, that is the correct statement. The leaked information reportedly related only to balance of plant to common service facilities and not to nuclear safety system. Right, that is true. Balance of plant, that is where data was leaked, Yoto system. Kudankulam nuclear power plant was built in collaboration with the French company EDF. True or false? False. Okay, which company? Rosatom. Okay, from Russia. Okay, French company. This company is involved actually in development of other nuclear power plant in Maharashtra. The French company EDF. Where it is developing nuclear power plant? Jayapur. Jayapur in Maharashtra. That is with French collaboration. Kudankulam is with the Russian collaboration. So correct answer would be A. Okay, 1 and 2. Then next is with reference to Tibetan Plateau. Consider the following statement. It is the highest and largest upland region on the earth. Okay, both we have seen to be correct. Recent research has provided evidence that the subduction of Indian plate beneath the Eurasian plate played a key role in its formation. Okay, that is also correct. The Tibetan Plateau is the source of several major Asian rivers. Okay, total how many rivers we have seen? 10 major Asian rivers, including Indus, Brahmaputra, and the Satluj river flowing across India as such. Right. So these were the topics, I think. Check. That's